Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. So today's video is all about the amazing Netflix show Sex Education, and I've literally just finished the last episode this morning, so I'm a little bit devastated that it's over, but you know, I'm smiling because it's happened, because I just happened upon the show and it's absolutely incredible, and I want to talk about it on this video from the viewpoint of basically sex education. And all the way through watching this show I was thinking, oh, how amazing would it have been if I was like a teenager and I was able to watch this show as I was going through puberty, and we were starting to learn about sex and being attracted to other people and all of the messiness and confusion and shame around sex that exists, I think, within most of society. Well, it definitely did for me when I was growing up. So just to give you a little bit of a backstory about the show. So there are 8 episodes and the TV show is called Sex Education. It's all a British cast. It's actually filmed in Wales, but it's set in England. And the premise is that there's this boy, he's 16 years old, just about to turn 17. He's still a virgin, he's got lots of issues around sex, he can't masturbate. And his mum is a sex therapist and he lives with his mum. His dad and his mum have split up and he's in America. So he lives with his mum and he ends up giving someone at school some advice, which then turns into him giving lots of different people within the school from all different kinds of cliques and groups, from like the A group right down to like the kind of like musicians and the arty ones and the kind of geeks. So it goes through the whole spectrum and you follow this guy's story, and then there are 2 other main characters, and then there's lots of other supporting characters, and it's just absolutely incredible. I urge you to go and watch it. If you're looking for a Netflix show that's going to be like, not like saccharine sweet, but it's going to be like a warm hug, kind of like a weird, warm, sexy hug, then Sex Ed is the show that you need to watch. And it really struck me when I was watching it that I always, pardon the pun, bang on about this to people, like just how terrible sex education, in my opinion, was when I was at school, and then also when I worked in a school for a little while after I'd finished uni and I was considering going into teaching. So when I was at school, sex education was basically, I think I was in year 6 and we all got separated out. The boys left, the girls stayed in, and we watched this video where the teacher talked to us a little bit about getting a period and you know, intercourse and sex in this very mechanical, kind of basic way, which didn't talk about emotions. It certainly, which is my biggest bugbear, did not talk about female masturbation or female sexuality or female urges. The video that we watched just talked about how boys would have that and girls weren't gonna get any of that. Like, you know, girl didn't explain like how girls masturbate or anything like that. So like looking back, I think that's really bad, and it created, for not just for me but other women I've spoke to, when you go through a system like that and society as a wider whole, which is all about male sexuality and male urges, then as a woman you don't really feel like you should be having those feelings and those thoughts. So that was my sex education, which was pretty shit. And then I worked at a school in, I was trying to remember the year, it would have been 2008 that I worked in a school, and I had to sit in on the sex education video, which was shown to, I think it was year 5 at the time that saw it, and it was boys and girls mixed that watched it, which we know is a step forward. At least we're not trying to segregate the sexes. And again, I don't know if it was the same video or whether it was an updated video from when I was at primary school, which would have been like 95, 96. But this video was absolutely shocking, and my blood was boiling when I was watching it. I was so angry, like just seeing all these girls watching this video, and it talked about in terms of like sort of sexual desire and sexual thoughts were that, you know, guys have a penis and guys will want to wank off, and it was like, well, what about the girls? I was livid. I was just like, are we just living in this society where it's like the elephant in the room, no one wants to talk about it? Is it that taboo? So, and you can probably tell from my voice that it really just frustrates me and bewilders me as to why this is still going on. And you know, I was reading up before posting this video that, you know, there is a lot more of a push. So for example, like all sex education within primary and secondary schools seems like it got an overhaul in 2018, and I think the hope of that is that it will talk more about relationships and will bring sort of relationship and sex education in from an earlier phase. That's the idea. But then apparently this woman had got like ousted and shamed, this sex therapist, because she'd suggested that at 11 years old children should be told about masturbation and told about the positive elements of it and how it can, you know, help you uncover your sexuality, and if you become comfortable in masturbation then you're more likely to know what you want when you do get into a sexual relationship, and you can discover yourself before you're then going to another person, which made total sense to me. But maybe I'm just a weird hippie woman, I don't know. So yeah, sex education is brilliant because the TV show, now I'm talking about sex education, on Netflix, you can get it now, it's brilliant because it just talks about everything in such a loving, sensitive, compassionate, funny way that takes it takes the topic of sex and shame and the reasons that we struggle in relationships and the reasons that we struggle with sex, and it really just handles everything in such a compassionate way that really helps to reduce the shame. And I mean, I'm watching it now as a 33-year-old woman, and it's helped me so much because basically the different characters in it can teach you, this is what I found anyway, teach you different things. So we've got Eric's character, and Eric is struggling to find a place in this kind of like rural town of being, you know, he knows he's gay and other people aren't comfortable with that, so then he's trying to discover how he can fit in and how he can feel content in himself and be accepted by other people. And that helped me to think about being braver and, you know, stepping out and being okay with my own shit and who I am. And he taught me some great lessons around that. And then we've got Maeve's character, and Maeve's had a really difficult upbringing and she has lacked parental role models. So she's in a really difficult place and she really struggles to be vulnerable, and her pain and hurt comes out in aggression, and we kind of see her journey of working through that throughout, which is really beautiful to watch and funny as well. And then we've got the main character, and we see Otis, like he runs through this feeling of having this huge shame around his sexuality. And I won't tell you all the details, but he has a lot of shame, and we see him going back and unpicking and uncovering basically why that shame is there. And that's a fascinating journey that he goes on to discover how his parents and his mum and dad's relationship and sexual history has then impacted on him. So there's so many fascinating strands, and I would say especially if you're like me and you are studying something in the realm of like psychology or psychotherapy or counselling, it's absolutely fascinating. And I kind of have this pull that maybe this is a direction I would like to move into a specialism once I've completed my counselling training, because I find it just so fascinating, because it's still very taboo and there's a lot of shame around people being open and talking about their sexuality and their sexual experiences. So shows like Sex Education are incredible that young people and older people like me are watching these shows and learning so much. So go watch it, please, this week. Give it a try. I think you're going to love it. As I say, it's a warm, funny, sexy hug. And who doesn't want a warm, funny, sexy hug on a cold February night? So yeah, if you enjoyed this video, please like, share with anyone that's watched Sex Education or anyone you want to urge to watch it. And please subscribe if you're enjoying my videos so far. And I will see you next Tuesday for another video. Okay, thanks guys, bye.